Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more English story. The struggle that changed me. When I look back at my life, I see a path filled with challenges. But those struggles taught me lessons I'll carry forever. Let me tell you a story, a simple one, about how I found strength in the hardest times. The beginning of my struggle. 3 years ago, I lost my job. It wasn't because I was lazy or bad at it. The company just couldn't keep me anymore. At first, I thought, I'll find another job soon. But weeks turned into months, and every rejection email felt like a punch to my confidence. Money started running out. I couldn't go out with friends because I felt ashamed. I stopped answering calls from my family because I didn't want them to worry, or worse, to pity me. I thought, why me? Why is life so unfair? The turning point. One afternoon, I was walking aimlessly through the park when I saw an old man sitting on a bench. His clothes were simple, his shoes worn out, but his face had a calmness that caught my attention. As I sat next to him, he noticed my downcast face and asked, "Tough day?" I nodded, and before I knew it, I was pouring out everything: my job loss, my worries, my shame. He listened patiently, then said something I'll never forget. Struggle is like fire. It burns, yes, but it also shapes us. The key is deciding whether you'll let it destroy you or make you stronger. I looked at him, confused. He smiled and added, "You have more strength than you think. Start small, one step at a time." Starting over. That night, I couldn't sleep. His words kept echoing in my mind. One step at a time. The next morning, I made a decision. I didn't know where to start, but I knew I had to. I began with simple things: updating my resume, practicing interview skills, and applying for jobs. I also started delivering food part-time. At first, it felt embarrassing. I used to work in an office, and now I was riding a bike with a delivery bag. But slowly, I realized this wasn't failure. It was survival. It was my way of fighting back, facing challenges. There were days when I wanted to give up. A rude customer, a rainy day on my bike, or another rejection email could bring me to tears. But I reminded myself, struggle is shaping me. One day, while delivering food, I met a kind woman who worked at a local community center. She noticed my tired face and asked about my story. When I told her, she smiled and said, "We're looking for someone to help us with event planning. It's not much, but it's a start. Interested?" That small opportunity changed everything. The rise. Working at the community center wasn't just a job. It was a chance to rebuild my confidence. I met new people, learned new skills, and found purpose again. Slowly, I started saving money and taking online courses in project management, a field I had always dreamed of entering. A year later, I landed a full-time job at a company that valued my hard work and resilience. The struggles I had faced didn't disappear. but they became a part of my story, a story of growth, perseverance, and transformation. What I learned: if you're going through a struggle, here's my advice: accept the pain. Struggle hurts, and it's okay to feel that. But don't let it stop you. Start small. You don't have to fix everything at once. Just take one step today. Learn from it. Every challenge teaches you something valuable. Pay attention. Be kind to yourself. It's okay to fall, to cry, to rest. Just don't give up. Seek support. Talk to someone, a friend, family member, or even a stranger like the man on the bench. Why it matters: struggles are a part of life, but they don't define us. How we respond to them does. When you face a tough time, remember, you're not alone, and you're stronger than you think. So, the next time life knocks you down, get up, dust yourself off, take that one small step. You'll be amazed at where it can lead you. Part 2. Falling isn't failing. After starting the part-time delivery job, I realized something important. Falling isn't the same as failing. Each time I struggled to get through a long day, I reminded myself that at least I was moving forward. But it wasn't easy. One evening, while making a delivery, I got caught in a thunderstorm. My clothes were soaked. My phone stopped working, and the delivery bag ripped open. As I stood there, drenched and frustrated, I thought, why am I doing this? Is it even worth it? That night, I broke down in my tiny room. I felt small, insignificant, and hopeless. But as I sat there, something inside me stirred. I thought of the man in the park and his words. Struggle shapes us. I wiped my tears and made a decision. I will keep going, no matter how hard it gets. Finding strength in unexpected places. A few weeks later, something surprising happened. One of my regular delivery customers, a cheerful older woman, noticed my tired face and asked if I was okay. I hesitated, then decided to share a little of my story. She listened carefully and said, "You remind me of my grandson. He works so hard and never gives up. Keep at it. I see something special in you." Her kindness gave me a small spark of hope. It reminded me that even when we feel invisible, someone notices our effort. From then on, I try to focus on the positives. I started keeping a journal, writing down one good thing that happened each day. Some days, the good thing was as small as having a warm meal or hearing a kind word. But over time, these small moments gave me strength, turning struggle into growth. I realized that struggling wasn't just about surviving, it was about growing. When I delivered food, I saw people from all walks of life. Families laughing around the dinner table, couples sharing good moments, and even lonely individuals waiting by the door. It made me think about my own life. I began to wonder, what kind of life do I want to build for myself? This question pushed me to take the next step. I saved a little money from each paycheck and enrolled in an online course. It was tough balancing work and study, but it gave me a sense of purpose. Support changes everything. Around this time, I also reconnected with my family. For months, I had avoided them, thinking they wouldn't understand my struggles. But when I finally called my mom, her voice cracked as she said, "We've been so worried about you. Please don't shut us out." Hearing her words felt like a weight lifting off my chest. My family wasn't there to judge me. They just wanted to support me. From then on, I shared my journey with them. My mom cheered me on every time I completed a course module. My dad sent me small messages of encouragement, even though he's not great with words. Having their support made me realize I didn't have to face everything alone. The breakthrough moment, after months of hard work, something amazing happened. I was delivering food to a small office building when I overheard a conversation. They were looking for someone to assist with event planning, a role that matched the skills I had been learning in my course. Gathering all my courage, I introduced myself and asked if they'd consider me for the job. The manager smiled and said, "We appreciate your initiative. Let's set up an interview." I walked out of that building feeling a mix of fear and excitement. Why struggle is a gift? Looking back, I realized the struggle wasn't just about surviving. It was about transforming. Every rejection, every rainy day on the bike, every moment of doubt taught me something valuable. Resilience, humility, and the power of persistence. I learned that even in the darkest moments, there's a light waiting to guide you, whether it's a kind stranger, a supportive family, or a small opportunity that changes everything. Struggle shaped me into someone stronger, braver, and more determined than I ever thought possible. Part 3. The interview. The day of the interview arrived, and I was a bundle of nerves. I didn't own a formal suit, so I borrowed one from a friend. It didn't fit perfectly, but I told myself, it's not about the suit, it's about the effort. I walked into the office, my hands clammy, but my heart full of hope. The manager asked me about my experiences, and I spoke honestly. I don't have much formal experience, I admitted, but I've been working hard to learn. I've faced challenges, and they've taught me how to adapt, persevere, and stay focused. I'm ready to prove myself. The manager nodded thoughtfully. "We value attitude as much as skills," she said. "You seem like someone who doesn't give up. Let's give you a trial period." I could hardly believe it. After months of struggle, I had my first real opportunity to step forward. The learning curve, starting the job, wasn't easy. I felt out of place among people who seemed more polished and experienced. But instead of feeling discouraged, I leaned into the challenge. I asked questions, stayed late to learn from others, and put my heart into every task. Whenever I made a mistake, I reminded myself of the lessons I'd learned. Mistakes are stepping stones, not roadblocks. Little by little, I began to gain confidence. My colleagues started to notice my dedication, and my manager gave me more responsibilities. One day, after successfully organizing a small event, the manager said, "You've got potential. Keep this up, and you'll go far." Hearing those words felt like validation for all the nights I had doubted myself. Rebuilding my dreams. With a stable job, I was finally able to breathe. I started saving money, not just for survival, but for growth. I continued my online courses, dreaming of bigger opportunities. I even reconnected with old friends, sharing my journey and inspiring them to keep pushing through their own struggles. But the most significant change was within me. I no longer saw struggles as something to fear. Instead, I saw them as moments of growth, moments that revealed my strength and resilience. A full circle moment. Months later, on a sunny afternoon, I found myself back in the park where I had first met the old man. This time, I wasn't feeling lost or defeated. I was grateful. Grateful for the journey, for the struggles, and for the people who had supported me along the way. I noticed another young person sitting on the same bench, looking as lost as I once had. Taking a deep breath, I sat beside them and said, "Hey, you okay? You look like you're carrying the world on your shoulders." They hesitated, then shared a bit of their story. I listened, nodded, and said, "It's hard now, but trust me, it gets better. Struggle doesn't define you. How you face it does." For the first time, I realized how much I had grown. I wasn't just surviving anymore. I was thriving, and I was ready to help others find their way too. Why struggle shapes us? Life will always have its challenges, but struggle teaches us resilience. It pushes us to grow, to adapt, and to find strength within ourselves that we never knew existed. If you're going through a tough time, remember, every small step forward matters. Don't compare your journey to others. Focus on your own growth. Surround yourself with people who believe in you. And don't be afraid to ask for help. Most importantly, never stop believing in yourself. The hardest roads often lead to the most beautiful destinations. Reflection and legacy. Sharing the journey. As time went on, I realized the power of sharing my story. The struggles I faced weren't just my own. They were a reflection of what many people endure. Each obstacle, each moment of doubt, and every small victory had taught me something valuable. I began to write about my experiences. At first, it was just for myself, a way to process everything I had been through. But soon, I decided to share my story on social media, hoping it might inspire someone else who felt stuck or lost. To my surprise, people began reaching out. Some thanked me for giving them hope. Others shared their own struggles. A few even said, "Your story gave me the courage to try again." It felt surreal. The pain I had once felt was now helping others heal and grow. The ripple effect. One day, the manager who had given me a chance called me into her office. She smiled and said, "You've come a long way. I'm promoting you to team leader." The promotion wasn't just about the title or the pay. It was a symbol of how far I had come. I used this new role to encourage others on the team, especially those who were just starting out. You don't have to be perfect. I often told them, you just have to keep trying. At the same time, I continued to pursue my personal goals. I enrolled in a professional course that aligned with my dream career, balancing work, study, and the connections I was building with others. The old man's words. One evening, I visited the park again. I hoped to find the old man who had once given me such simple yet profound advice. He wasn't there, but I sat on the bench, imagining what I would say to him if I saw him again. Thank you, I whispered into the cool evening air. You probably don't even know how much your words meant to me, but they changed my life. I realized then that sometimes the smallest acts of kindness, a conversation, a word of encouragement, can create ripples that spread far and wide. Living the lesson. Today, I'm still on my journey. I don't have everything figured out, and I still face challenges. But now, I face them with a sense of purpose and resilience. I've learned that struggle is a part of life, but it's not the end of the story. It's the beginning of growth. And every time I see someone struggling, I try to pass on the same advice the old man gave me. Start small. Focus on today. Just keep moving. Because sometimes, that's all it takes to change a life. Final thoughts. Struggles don't define us. They shape us. They teach us resilience, compassion, and the importance of reaching out to others. So if you're struggling, remember, every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Share your story. It might be the light someone else needs. Above all, keep moving forward. Because one day, you'll look back and realize the struggle wasn't just about surviving. It was about becoming the person you were meant to be. A life rebuilt, a hope renewed. Standing on the other side of my struggles, I've realized that life is not about the absence of difficulties, but about the strength we find within ourselves to face them. Each challenge taught me something new about patience, resilience, and the power of small steps. I've learned that even in the darkest moments, hope can be a quiet whisper, urging us to keep moving forward. And when we share our stories, we remind others that they are not alone in their battles. Today, I wake up each morning not just with dreams, but with the confidence that I have the tools to make them a reality. My struggles have turned into lessons, and those lessons have become my foundation. And so, to anyone who feels lost or overwhelmed, I leave this. The path may be unclear now, but every step forward reveals a little more of the way. Believe in yourself. No matter how small the progress feels, you're stronger than you think. And your story isn't over yet. This is not just the end of my story. It's the beginning of yours. Keep going. I'm so glad you spent this time with me. If you like the story, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Take care, and see you next time.